Valdez, where there's a state of emergency there in Tennessee. Okay, you saw the salt trucks out there. That is something that's very much in need in Piscataway, New Jersey, where we talked to Mayor Brian Wahler. Mayor, I'm the son of a former mayor. I know what it's like when situations like this hit, when the weather is piling up. You've got tens of thousands of people who depend on your leadership, really minute by minute during this storm. We understand you have a bit of a problem where salt is concerned to try to keep those roads less slick out there. How are you managing?
Well, Reed, it's just not Piscataway Township. It's several communities within the tri-state New York City region. There is material available at the port because that's where it's stored. It's just the logistics of getting it out to the communities. And in the state of New Jersey, there's a pecking order on who gets what material. And in our case in New Jersey, it's the state government that receives the state DOTs and then the counties and then the cities and the towns. And that's the big problem right now. We haven't received a delivery of road salt in almost 3.5 weeks. And our bins are large, 4,500 capacity salt domes only have 500 tons left, which is next to nothing. We need at least 2,500 for the storms. So for the viewership, that equates to about 70 tandem truckloads to be dumped off.
You talk about the pecking order.
Which is a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. You talk about the pecking order there. I would imagine then that you are fighting to be higher in the pecking order to get the salt because it can save lives.
Well, as we speak, we've sent a fleet of some of our DPW trucks up to the port. And being from Jersey, we're going to push our way into the situation to get some road salt. I feel like I'm a supply sergeant in the Army scrounging for road salt.
Right.
I've never seen this in the 25 years that I've been mayor.
How is this storm different? You know, you've been talking about how you haven't had a delivery for 3.5 weeks. Certainly, we've known that a big storm was coming because of our forecasters. As you're seeing this develop, as you've seen it develop, how is it different from what your vantage point is?
Well, we had 2 nuisance storms over Martin Luther King weekend, which we used up about 1,500 tons. But given the fact the amount of snowfall that's projected from the meteorologists, we are going to need a lot more salt. And for the general public viewing, as you saw before, salt doesn't work below 20 degrees. So you have to do a combination of liquid calcium chloride when the salt spreaders are going to get that out there. And that's why we need to have our material down on the road after we plow curb to curb, because otherwise, with the deep freeze coming after the snow event, we might have an ice skating rink around the towns if we don't have any material to try to get it down to the blacktop.
Which could really affect the I've done some research. There's about 60,000 people there in Piscataway or more.
Yeah,
that could affect them for weeks.
Yeah, we're the home of Rutgers University, and by the way, we're the home of the first 4th of July celebration. That's something else. But we are a feeder town in central New Jersey. We're about 35 miles south of New York City, and our town, with everybody traversing our community, ultimately ends up in the New York region and/or the southern going towards Philadelphia. So we're a critical hub here in this area of the state. So that's why our large feeder roads feed into the state highway system.
Well, we know the people of Piscataway are definitely worth their salt. We hope that you get what you need and then some. Stay safe, Mayor. I know it's going to be a very long, busy weekend for you. And we'll visit Piscataway when we get to July 4th. We will seek for that day sooner than later. Thank you, Mayor Brian Wahler.